Hey, this is the national treasure, Nick Aldis, and you're listening to the All Night Long Wrestling Podcast.
Welcome back to another edition of the All Night Long Wrestling Podcast. We are your hosts. He's the Stallion. I am the Enforcer. And we are back with a very special edition. I guess it could be called the Wednesday Night War edition of the All Night Long Wrestling Podcast. As tomorrow night, June 3rd, well, no, July 1st, right? Are there 31 days in June or are there 30?
No, it's 30. 30 days in June. And July 1st will be the Fyter Fest / Great American Bash head-to-head competition on Wednesday night.
Yeah. I've got a lot of fucking opinions on what's going on tomorrow night. And it's fueled by caffeine and aggression.
Oh,
That's
nice,
what it is.
okay.
Oh, and by my new shirt from Pro Wrestling Crate. I don't know if you can see this. Can we see this?
Yes.
Brain
Busters.
It's a brain. Last month was a tag team crate, and it's the Brain Busters. It's 1989 on the bottom. Smartest tag team in wrestling. Anderson and Blanchard. Dude, fucking everything I need, man. Everything I need happened between the years of 1981 and 1989. If it happened after that, I don't give a shit, man. I don't.
You don't need it. You don't need that in your life, bro.
I don't need it. I have video games, I have hair metal, and I have Running Scared. And I have NWA. Fuck it, man. Whatever. 2020 sucks by comparison. Murder hornets and fucking riots and all the other shit going on. That didn't happen in the 80s, buddy. Nobody knew what a fucking murder hornet was in 1984. They were busy just watching Christmas European Vacation, right?
Yeah.
What a time, man. What a time to be alive.
Classic movies. So yeah, we're gonna talk about the Fyter Fest for AEW and Great American Bash for NXT are both 2-week events. So the first show is tomorrow night, Wednesday, July 1st, as you said, and then the second one is the following Wednesday on July 8th. So this week we're going to do the night one previews for both shows, anticipating potential changes to the cards for the second week, of course, with all this stuff going on with COVID and Lord knows what else is going to happen in the next 7 days. So, you said we figured we'd stick to this first week. We know what the cards currently are for each show, and we'll go into it, and there'll probably be a lot of sarcastic and snarky remarks, at least I can say from my side for sure.
Yeah, have they announced another thank you taker for the Great American Bash yet?
Let me check out the old Twitter machine here. Let's see.
See what do we got?
No, just a Robert Stone brand segment, I think, on...
Oh, fuck this. Let me tell you something. Before I get into all this shit, I'm hot about this because, a year and a half ago, whenever it was, when did DX go into the Hall of Fame? That was WrestleMania 34?
I think it was, yeah, maybe. Yeah, that sounds right.
Whatever. And Triple H referred to Billy Gunn as being in a quote-unquote pissant company, and the WWE doesn't view AEW as a threat and all this shit. They announced Fyter Fest, and all of a sudden NXT announces a title unification match or a double title match with fucking the North American. There's been one North American champ. 2? How many? 3 maybe? Fucking 5? How many? It's been around for a year.
Yeah,
2 years.
I think. Yeah, I mean, yeah. It's been. I think it's around 2 years. I want to say. I think 2 years. Maybe.
Yeah, whatever.
3,
the fucking belt has as much prestige as the USA Pro Heavyweight title. Not because the guys that haven't held it are great, because they are, but the belt isn't prestigious yet. Like you have to earn prestige in a title. So let's fucking hot shot a champ match on the show. Okay, fine. And then all of a sudden it's a 2-week gimmick. Fine. And now you're gonna call it the fucking Great American Bash. What set of fucking balls do you have to call a show headlined by Dexter fucking Loomis the Great American Bash? The Great American Bash, which was created, the brainchild of the father of Cody Rhodes, the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes. What?
The Dexter Loomis match is a strap match. I don't know if that makes you feel any better about it, but it's not feeling it. Okay, that's fine. I just wanted to point that out because I know strap matches is very NWA Southern wrestling type thing, but that's fine. Yeah, I don't know.
All right, no, you're right. That's a good point. That is Southern wrestling. So what's the Rhea Ripley versus Aaliyah and Robert Stone? Rhea Ripley will join the Robert Stone brand if she loses. Where did that fit in on Mid Atlantic back in the day. I must have missed that one when the manager was doing a drunken gimmick and he fucking puked in the ring, and then he got the shit kicked out of him. Robert Stone, Robbie E, a big dude in shape, good wrestler, gets put through a fucking table by Rhea Ripley week in and week out after he just jobbed her out in a fucking title match.
You know what's interesting
What a
about that?
bunch of bullshit. So what?
You know what's interesting about this a little bit, and I don't like the storyline either. I know we've talked a lot about it off air my disdain for the whole thing, but for a lot of reasons. But one thing I guess I find interesting, and admittedly I have not seen full episodes of NXT for a little while, right? But from what I remember, Chelsea Green had a tag match on NXT. She was tagging with Charlotte, and her and Charlotte won the match. And then after the match, she told Robert Stone that she no longer needed his representation. Since then, I'm not really sure that Chelsea Green has done a whole lot on NXT, if she's even appeared much at all. Correct me if I'm wrong, anybody who's listening to this. But Robert Stone has, in fact, been on television every week getting beat up by Rhea Ripley, and now he has a match on this show. And the women's division, which is having 2 matches on Great American Bash on Wednesday this week, and no Chelsea Green in either one of those matches. A fatal 4-way elimination number 1 contenders match, and then also Io Shirai versus Sasha Banks, and no Chelsea Green. So I feel like it's almost gone in the exact opposite direction that I would have expected it to go, where you thought maybe Chelsea Green was going to get an even bigger push, and instead she's kind of fallen into the background, and Robert Stone has gotten a push.
You are 100% dead on balls accurate. Chelsea Green's last match was with Charlotte Flair against Io Shirai and Rhea Ripley. So if the whole point to bring Charlotte to NXT, Charlotte, who I fucking love, I think she's the best women's wrestler in the world, and you don't, and that's fine, and we're not going to argue about that. But the whole point to me, if you're going to bring Charlotte to NXT, is to raise the women in NXT to get them to the next level. So you beat Io Shirai and Rhea Ripley, and you tag with Chelsea Green, and Chelsea Green gets no rub from it? And then shortly after, I don't know, and then Rhea Ripley loses the title, and now Io Shirai, the fucking champion, is wrestling Sasha Banks in a non-title match? Right after fucking Dolph Ziggler, who I don't even know what he does, on Monday night pops up and he's like, you know what, McIntyre, I get a title match. The fuck you do? And what? This is, I'm not doing good, Joe. No. Because you know what? The Great American Bash shit really pisses me off. The whole counter programming, everything that NXT has done has been a defensive maneuver to counter AEW from the beginning, from the whole Wednesday thing. And that's fine, but like, stop lying, man. Stop pretending that you don't see AEW as a fucking threat. You're bringing back Ric fucking Flair every Monday night now, and last night they said he was going to be in the corner of Garza and Andrade, and they fucking jobbed to the Big Show. What the fuck are we doing, Joe? What are you trying to protect the young upstart Big Show? You're worried about him getting his push over guys at the behest of Andrade and Garza? What fucking direction are we heading? You know where we're going? We're going to Bruce Pritchardville, and it fucking sucks. And the homeless population is through the fucking roof, and there's shit on the streets. That's what happens in Bruce Pritchardville.
So I guess on that note, do you want to start with the Great American, as I'm not going to refer to it for the rest of the show, the Great American Trash show on Wednesday, since we're talking WWE first. You want to go through that card? I think there's...
Wait, we're not done? We still have a show? Because I'm out. I'm spent. My anger has flown. It has flowed through me like bad Chinese food, and it is now gone. It just came in, and it has left.
Extra MSG. Yeah, I think
on the fucking MSG. Yeah, you know what? Let's go to the Great American Trash. Let's go to that. All right, I'll run down the card real quick. I have them both in front of me, and then we'll give our opinions. By the way, people who would listen to and watch our New Japan Cup bracketology show, we're going to touch base on that real quick. Buddy, you and I are tied. What are the odds of that? We both have 17 points, and tomorrow morning is the rest of the second round.
Yeah, it's coming down to the wire, I think. It's going to depend on who makes the finals, it looks like. I guess we'll see. I think you have Okada and Ibushi, if I'm not mistaken. and I have Ishii and Evil. So big differences, of course, there, and I think that's going to make the difference and see who comes out on top in the New Japan Cup. So we, like you said, a couple more shows coming this week, and it'll really shake things out in the standings of two people.
Yeah, could we just agree that if Dexter Lumis was in the thing, he'd win the whole fucking cup?
Yeah, probably, I guess.
Sick. Speaking of Dexter Lumis, Great American Trash, The GAT, Night 1. I'm going to run down the card, then we'll start. I don't even know where the bottom is, because this whole card looks like a fucking bottom, is what it looks like.
That's,
Yeah. I'm just saying, like, in terms of, like, when you look at a card, right, you could tell, like, how it escalates to the main event. To me, this whole card is flat, except for one match. But let's get to it. Oney Lorcan versus Timothy Thatcher. My favorite match on the card. Then we have Rhea Ripley versus Aaliyah and Robert Stone. Ripley loses. She joins the Robert Stone brand. Next up, we have Tegan Nox versus Mia Yim versus Candice LeRae versus Dakota Kai in a number one contenders match for the NXT Women's Championship. It's an elimination match. Then we have Io Shirai versus Sasha Banks in a non-title match. Then we have Dexter Lumis versus Roderick Strong in a strap match. I don't know what match is going to open the show. I think it's going to be Oney Lorcan versus Tim Thatcher. So let's go there. Joe, start us off.
Well, I think in terms of picking a winner, I'm going to definitely say Tim Thatcher. These guys have, they came up on the independent scene before joining NXT. Thatcher joined much more recently. Lorcan's been there for a little while, of course, in the tag team with Danny Burch. But they both can work, that mat-based style, which I think is really, I guess that's the best way I can describe Thatcher's in-ring approach. It seems like he's the one in position to be getting more of a push in NXT at the moment. So I think that they will have a very good match, at least in my opinion, they'll have a very good match, and that Tim Thatcher will get a victory here on night 1.
Yeah, I've seen these two wrestle before. I think it was Beyond Wrestling. It was Tim Thatcher and Biff Busick, and they just beat the shit out of each other, and that's what you're going to see again tomorrow night. Tim Thatcher's going to win. There's no way Tim Thatcher can't win. They're really pushing him as the Thatch Ken. Is that right?
That sounds right. I don't know.
They're doing some cool promos with him in a wrestling ring with students and teaching them like the catch wrestling or Thatch wrestling, and I think it's really cool. I really enjoyed it the first time it happened when it was Taz preparing for Chris Candido at Hardcore Heaven 97, and they had Taz in the Team Taz dojo just cutting a great promo as he was choking people out and dumping them on their head, and it's a promo that 23 years later I still quote to this day. So Thatcher wins because he likes Taz. Next up, your favorite match of the show, buddy. Rhea Ripley in a handicap match taking on Aaliyah and Robert Stone. I think Aaliyah and Robert Stone are going to win, and I think Rhea Ripley is going to begrudgingly join forces with the Robert Stone brand. I'm not interested. I'm not looking forward to it. I don't care. Joe?
Yeah, I mean, I could definitely see them doing that. I don't know, man. It really...
You don't have the words. You don't have the words.
It's what it is. It's hard to rack my brain to try to understand what the logic is for them in terms of them being the NXT like booking committee or whatever you want to call them, the writers, they might think that Rhea Ripley losing helps get her more over because she's going to be in this angle and it's going to be interesting, whatever. I don't think so. I don't think this angle is helping her get more over at all. She was like very, very popular when she won the title from Shayna Baszler, who's also MIA, by the way. And she then lost to Charlotte at WrestleMania and then lost in a triple threat match at the NXT In Your House show. And now she's feuding with Robert Stone. So I want to believe that they're going to give her a victory here. And that would be a good idea, in my opinion, to get her a victory on even though it's not necessarily a pay-per-view, it's a featured show for them in the summer. And I think, it would at least help put her over strong to beat two people in a handicap match. So I'm going to say Rhea Ripley wins, and hopefully the storyline goes away.
Makes two of us. Next up, Tegan Nox versus Mia Yim versus Candice LeRae versus Dakota Kai in a number one contenders match for the women's title. Here's the fucking deal. Here's my problem. Candice LeRae, Tegan Nox, Io Shirai, Mia Yim, Dakota Kai, and Chelsea Green battle in a ladder match for the right to challenge NXT Women's Champion Charlotte Flair. A month and a half ago? Roughly? A month ago?
Yeah, I think that was the ladder match you said, right?
Yeah, the ladder match. Which was fucking awesome. Totally down for that. I think it's a great idea. You can't fucking build somebody in 2 months. You can't give some woman a string of singles victories to put her in the next level to challenge for a title and make it fucking believable. What is with this? I don't get it. I don't understand. Candice LeRae just turned heel. She's doing great. Johnny Gargano turned heel. Candice LeRae just fucking lost at the last takeover in your house, in a 6-women tag or some shit, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Like,
I think Tegan Nox pinned Dakota Kai in that match, I believe.
Okay. Oh, great. There you go. So shouldn't Tegan Nox then? I'm mad and I'm fucking baffled at like you said, like the lack of writing. We've talked about this a couple of weeks ago. It looks like there's a Vince McMahon impact happening on NXT. Do you think that's the case? Do you think because it's on USA, he is now inserting himself a little bit more because he sees NXT, any of his shows losing to AEW in the ratings?
I mean, I think it's possible. Of course, I don't know for sure, but I think the other part of that is I would think in some way he certainly has to have some involvement because they've started using more main roster wrestlers on the show, right? Charlotte was on for a while. Now Sasha Banks is going to be on the show this week. So, and other people have come through there. So, I would like to think he's at least in the know and he's probably aware of like, okay, they're using Charlotte on the NXT. This is what they're doing. And if he doesn't like it, he may tell them to change it. Same thing with Sasha Banks is my guess. I don't know if he has any other hands in writing the show, but there's some silliness on NXT that I'm not used to seeing in the past, which I don't know, again, whether that's Vince influence or something else, but it certainly seems to be going in that direction. As far as the match itself, the 4-way, I think, given especially since the Io Shirai match on this show is non-title, she's not going to be losing the title. I think Io Shirai is a babyface now, I'm pretty sure. So I think Candice should win this match. I don't think that Mia Yim's had her chance. I don't think she should be winning this. And Nox and Kai, I think, still have unfinished
They cancel
business.
each other out, right? They kind of cancel each other out, yeah.
I think they're unfinished business. So I'm going to say that Candice wins and gets a title shot at Io Shirai at some point in the near future.
That's my pick, too. And, again, no disrespect to the women in this match because I think the 4 women in this match are 4 of the better women's wrestlers in the entire WWE. I'm just frustrated at the lack of... It's the 50-50 shit that you and I have talked about for years on end. I'm not going to go back into it now, but it's just so frustrating to see that happening consistently. Next up, we'll go with Dexter Lumis versus Roderick Strong in a strap match. The vignettes the Undisputed Era have been doing make it worth me having to sit there and fast forward on NXT week to week. Roderick is hilarious. Him getting in the trunk, Kyle as the doctor, everything was good. Unfortunately, despite the fact that strap matches are no DQ, I still see Roderick Strong losing this match. I think Dexter Lumis is a guy they're pushing in a complete disconnect for me. I'm cool with the serial killer gimmick, but I'm not cool with him being a good guy. It doesn't make sense to me. His Titantron or his Tron, whatever the fuck you call it, doesn't make sense to me either. His slithering into the ring, the character's cool, but he should be like, I don't know. I'm a big serial killer horror guy, and it's a little bit of a disconnect for me. But I think Dexter Lumis wins, and he might be a guy you see in the main event picture or the well, actually, I don't even know. I don't know what the fuck's going on, but I think they're gonna push Dexter Lumis next, so he wins.
Yeah, I guess I think he'll win. I know Roddy beat him in a singles match straight up on NXT a couple weeks back, or maybe last month. And I think largely the Undisputed Era has gotten the better of him in matches, from what I understand. So I think that he'll win this. If he doesn't, then I don't know what they're going to do after that. I mean, I don't with him. I don't know if he's going to move into a tag team situation with Velveteen Dream or if they're going to move him to the main roster or something. I'm not really sure.
Wait, with who?
The Velveteen Dream. So I don't know. But I also will pick Dexter Lumis to win this match. What's the matter?
Main event of the show, I guess. Io Shirai versus Sasha Banks. There's no fucking reason Sasha Banks should be on NXT challenging Io Shirai, which means she's probably going to win. It's a non-title match. Sasha Banks is going to win. Just continue to literally shit down the throat of everything NXT, and Sasha Banks wins, and Io Shirai looks like shit, taking a loss to somebody who she shouldn't be losing to, but is still a great wrestler. So Sasha Banks wins, Io loses. Fuck this.
Yeah, I think so. I think Sasha will win too. Also, because I believe she's supposed to be challenging Asuka for the Raw Women's Championship at the next main roster pay-per-view, which is the Extreme Rules Horror Show.
Oh, fuck it.
So I think even though she's a SmackDown wrestler or whatever, I can't really pay attention to this stuff anymore. But yeah, so I think that she'll win here to probably be kept strong for that upcoming title match that she has, or at the next. Yeah. Anyway, that's it.
Yeah, hold on. Are we 5 for 5? Dexter Lumis, Io Shirai, Candice LeRae, Ali, and Robert Stone, Tim Thatcher?
I took Rhea Ripley. That's the only difference that we have. Yep.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's whatever. I'm not looking forward to it. I'm going to watch it, of course, but it's you and I talked about it. You and I talked about it, and I'm like, and I didn't know the card. I haven't watched NXT too much, but I fast forward. Like, I didn't know the card, and I was like, dude, did you see the card for night 1 of the Great American Bash? And I think your response was, I'm referring to it only as the Great American Trash from here on out. Because that's not a... If you know what? If you would have made Io Shirai versus Sasha Banks a title match, okay, you have a main event for the Great American Bash. But there's not one title match on the line. Not one title.
Yeah, I guess. Oh, yeah, because the two, the no tag titles, and then the NXT title and the North American title both on the line in the same match the following week. So
yeah, there's no fucking War Games either. It's not a Great American Bash. You slapped a sticker on a fucking 74 Pinto and you put 94 Pinto on it, and it's the same fucking thing you're gonna get every week. Next up, Fyter Fest Night 1. I'm going to run down the card real quick, and then we'll give our picks. This has 5 matches. So, MJF and Wardlow versus Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus. Private Party with Matt Hardy versus Santana and Ortiz. AEW Women's Championship match, Hikaru Shida versus Penelope Ford. AEW TNT Championship match, Champion Cody versus Jake Hager. And the AEW Tag Team titles are on the line as Hangman Page and Kenny Omega take on the Best Friends. What's the first thing you notice by comparison, card to card?
There's more titles in the line. And I think that there's more. This card is built more, I guess, from top to bottom off of feuds or storylines versus NXT, which has some of that, but some of the matches are not necessarily built up for a longer period of time. That's what I would say.
There's reasons for the matches. Even the opener, so we'll start there. MJF and Wardlow versus Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus. Everything MJF does is gold. Wardlow, I could take him or leave him. Luchasaurus, also could take him or leave him. However, Jungle Boy, big fan. Give me 8 minutes of MJF and Jungle Boy and a minute and a half of the other two, and we'll be good. That being said, I don't think MJF's winning streak comes to an end here, so I think MJF and Wardlow get the victory over Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus.
Yep, I would agree with you on that. I think, again, like they've built it up a little bit. They've had, MJF and Jungle Boy had a match at the last pay-per-view, Double or Nothing. Wardlow and Luchasaurus had a match on a recent episode of Dynamite.
More like Wardlow, right?
Yeah. That's so at least there's backstory here. They've been feuding for a little while, but I agree. I think MJF and Wardlow will get the win.
This next match really is one of those matches that has no build-up whatsoever. Private Party with Matt Hardy versus Private Party with Matt Hardy. That's a good rhyme. Versus Santana and Ortiz. Matt Hardy's kind of doing a weird thing where he's reinventing himself, and it seems like he's been teasing stuff with Private Party. He helped him out a couple weeks ago when Mark Quinn got hurt. So I think Private Hardy. I'm gonna go with that. Private Hardy. I think they get the win here over Santana and Ortiz, although I don't think they should. I think they might get the win here to continue the Matt Hardy angle, maybe a reinvention angle or whatever it might be. But I think Santana and Ortiz are unfortunately going to take an L.
Yeah, this is an interesting one. I'm not too sure either on this, but I guess if I'm picking, I'm going to say that Santana and Ortiz will win. I'm not really sure where the direction of the Matt Hardy stuff is going because he, like you said, he has this interaction with Private Party, but he also had something going on with Sammy Guevara before Sammy Guevara was suspended. So I'm not sure where this is all supposed to head. But I think Santana and Ortiz should get a win because I think they should be elevated more in the tag division, and this is a good place for them to start doing that. So I'm going to say Santana and Ortiz.
Yeah, I'm pulling for them, and I'm totally with you. I just I don't know if I say it. Next up, AEW Women's Championship match. Champion Hikaru Shida versus Penelope Ford. Penelope Ford was not supposed to be in this spot. This was supposed to be Chris Statlander, I believe, right? Before she got hurt.
I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not supposed to, who was supposed to be, but there was things that happened in the women's division. Statlander got hurt. Britt Baker is hurt. She's still appearing on the show weekly, so I think some things have changed over the course of things. But Penelope Ford ended up picking up a pinfall over Hikaru Shida in a tag match, I think, and earned herself an opportunity here.
Wait, she did what?
She, I think, picked up a pinfall victory over Hikaru Shida.
What's that other word? Keep going.
Earn a title.
Hey!
Shot.
Isn't for it, baby, right?
Can we say title shot on this show? Does anybody? Or is it title opportunity? How's that?
Title opportunity. The AEW universe really gets behind her. No, you're right. But I think, they haven't had a lot of time to prepare for this match, but I think they have done a pretty good job getting Penelope Ford to the next level. When she walks out, yes, she's, quite attractive. But I also think she has that aura where, she walks out and she kind of is a star, right? There are very few, a couple of women like that. I think Chelsea Green has that same thing. When she walks out and you're like, oh, okay, she's somebody. She commands herself that way. Man, I wish you could see Chance's face right now. It looks like he just smelled cookies for some reason. He's alive. But Penelope Ford's, she's done a good job getting herself to the next level. That I just don't know if I see Hikaru Shida losing the title yet, and I don't think she should. I don't think Penelope Ford will get hurt at all in a loss here, so I'm saying Hikaru Shida retains the belt.
Yeah, I agree. I think that they're going to keep it on Hikaru Shida, and I'm not sure what the long game is for that. Maybe I would like to think maybe that Britt Baker will be the one to take it off her eventually. But it sounds like Britt Baker's going to have more of a feud with Big Swole when she gets back and healthy. So, but yeah, I think Shida's going to retain.
Next up, I guess we'll go AEW TNT Championship match. Cody, whose birthday was today, I believe. So happy birthday, Cody Rhodes, and Terry Funk's birthday. Taking on Jake Hager. This is a tough one, man. Jake Hager's got a lot of momentum. He's got a lot of steam. Cody has been doing a good job defending the title every single week, except for last week. And did you see everybody was on him on the internet? Like, you said you were going to defend it every week. I'm like, there was a press conference for let's relax. And I think it's kind of better if you don't defend it every week. That way you don't get sick of a guy. I'm going back and forth on this one. I just don't see Cody losing it yet. And I think this is kind of, this is kind of the NWA TV title where it needs to be on a worker, right? Like a worker week in and week out that you can get a good 6 to 10 to 12 minutes out of, concise, match to match to match quality each week. That's why it was forever the Arn Anderson belt, the Tully Blanchard belt, the belt where whoever you were in the ring with made you look better. And I think Cody's done a good job of that. In terms of guys like Ricky Starks, Jungle Boy. I know you haven't been 100% on the Cody bandwagon with this one, but I think Cody keeps the title here.
Yeah, this is a close one for me too. But I do think he'll retain. Just for the same reason you said. I think it feels a little too soon for him to lose it. I could see Hager being a guy to beat him, but I just don't think now's the time. I think they're telling a longer story with some of this stuff and him continuing to defend it frequently, and then eventually someone will beat him. I'd like to see Darby Allin be the person to do that. I don't know if it will be or not, but we'll see. But I do think that Cody will retain here, so I'm going to have him keep hanging on to that TNT Championship.
And I think the longer he holds on to it, classic booking, right? The longer you hold on to it, the more it means when the guy beats you for it. It's almost like we should run a fucking wrestling show, Joe. Well, we could probably go to the UK and scoop up some available talent. There's a lot of that going on. Next up, main event. well, maybe not the main event, but last one we have here, the AEW Tag Team Championship match. Hangman Page and Kenny Omega taking on the best friends, Chucky T, Trent Beretta. Now, Hangman and Kenny were a thrown-together tag team that I was not on board with in the beginning. Since then, correct me if I'm wrong, they are must-see wrestling.
Yeah, all the matches I've seen them in have been very good, leading up to the title win, including that, and then after that. I do like the best friends. I'm definitely a fan of those guys, and they also have really good matches. So I think this match will be very good. I don't think there will be a title change. I'm not sure where this is all heading, but I'm going to guess it's going to have something to do with FTR and the Bucks and something eventually. But I think that Hangman and Kenny will win here. They haven't teased much dissension between them as of late, so I'm not sure if they're maybe just kind of like putting the brakes on that until they get crowds back, if that ever happens. Or
did
not.
You see the promo with Kenny and Hangman?
I did, yeah. Which was
good. That's
good,
quality shit, Joe.
Good piece of business, as I say. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Hangman and Omega to retain.
I'm throwing out the upset alert. I think the best friends are gonna take the titles from Hangman and Kenny. I don't know why. I just have a hunch. Also, believe it or not, I don't know if this is true. The best friends have never been tag team champions in any organization.
Yeah, I think I heard that. I think actually that was in the video package, right, leading up to this, maybe or something. It was mentioned there, perhaps. Somewhere.
Maybe that's where it was. But yeah, man, I think we're gonna have an upset. I think the match should be stupendous, and I am. Yeah, you know what? No, I'm sticking with it. Best friends gonna upset Omega and Hangman Page. I don't know if it's gonna be like it's gonna cause any dissension or anything like that. I don't know how it's gonna happen. Could just be an actual wrestling match where the better team wins. I don't know, but I'm saying best friends in this one.
All right, man. So we're going head to head on that one. Interesting. All right, yeah. I always lean a little bit more towards AEW, but to me the card is more appealing. But as you mentioned earlier, NXT's been doing some, throwing some of this stuff out there with the winner take all, and they had the triple threat last week for the North American title, and they won the ratings pretty handily last week. So maybe it's working. I don't know. Maybe it's just a different audience that's tuning in. But I'm definitely going to be watching AEW tomorrow night, and the Great American Trash on DVR, or even on the network, perhaps after that.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. Listen, I am thankful to have these shows to watch right now because of everything going on. I don't want anybody to think I'm looking at gift horse in the mouth, but one show is clearly head and shoulders above the other one. One show, if you look at card to card, you could see thought gone into the matches with backstory and reason for them. And the other card, you're like, all right, some of the matches might be good, but why do I give a shit about any of those? And that's the thing. They haven't given you a reason to care. And if you do care and you get invested in something, they shit on it the next week by either A, completely forgetting about it, or B, going back on whatever said stipulation was, or C, just completely flip-flopping and pretending like things never happened. So the thing is, when you pretend like things never happen, then to me, there's no reason for me to get emotionally invested, right? Isn't that kind of like, why do I care if somebody loses? If I know next week they're just going to pretend like that guy never lost.
I don't know, man. Is that so? Are you pulling for Robert Stone? Is that what I'm hearing? Is that what the underlying meaning behind what you're saying here? You want Robert Stone?
That's what you got out of that whole fucking thing, was that I'm pulling for Robert Stone?
Are you pulling for Robert Stone?
I am.
Okay.
I am pulling for Robert Stone.
I think we all are. I think the whole NXT universe is pulling for Robert Stone. I mean, how could they not be? So, poor guy fucking puked on TV, and now he's got to wrestle in a handicap match against a woman who's beaten him up several times over the last 3 weeks. So,
not just listen, you want to compare it, like Penelope Ford runs in and does like a quick hurricanrana, and that's her spot. Rhea Ripley physically picks him up and puts him through a table on more than one occasion. So, all I'm missing from this show is Randy Orton and Nia Jax to really fucking put it over the edge for me. But
you never know, man.
Plenty of time. Who knows what next week's going to be like? Listen, that being said, I'm looking forward to Fyter Fest tomorrow night. I'm going to watch NXT, and I'm going to bitch about it the entire way through because that's what I do. Just kidding. I'm going to enjoy it. I just fucking hate the booking. Yeah, man. If you want to get in touch with us, Bagu, I have a feeling you are going to love this episode especially. Get us at All Night Long WP on every sort of social media we have. LordsofPain.net on YouTube is where you could find our shows. WrestlingHeadlines.com is the old Lords of Pain. They're really helping us out and putting up a lot of our content on there. So for them, we thank you guys so much. We appreciate it. And, that's it. We'll be back next week with part 2 of Great American Trash, the GAT, and Fyter Fest. Until then, he is your host. He is the Stallion. I'm the comedic relief. I'm the enforcer. And we are tapping out.
Best friends.